Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Intuitive Energy Forecast for March 24th, 2022. I'm Arlene Grace, an intuitive energy coach, master numerologist, and channel. So as I feel into today's energy today, we're in the energy of a 6 and a Queen of Clubs. And so this energy is very karmic, meaning that you get to see some results of decisions that you've made. It is really this assessment of your life, and the invitation is to bring the wholeness of life here now, right? The question is, are you living a whole life? Or are you just getting snippets of it, right? And the Queen of Clubs is there's this receptive nature of the Queen. She is the master of her own mind. She is highly intellectual. She is a person that you may even be feeling, I have the to-do lists. I'm very intellectual. I might judge you if I don't think you're smart. She's very good, very career oriented, right? She's there to strive in her career, to be a leader. And as I was feeling into this energy, it took me back to this vision that I had where I was arguing with Isabella. And Isabella was probably about 4 years old at the time. And I was arguing with her, and I was impatient, and I was mad, and I was just projecting onto this little child. And it was something so simple. It was just about combing her hair. And it took me through this journey where I was in the lower perception of that. Here I was, and I didn't like my life. I was going through a divorce. I'd moved back in with my parents. I was working midnights. And so I was also seeing my children for an hour a day, and long enough to take Isabella to school, bring her back home. I would sleep in between. I would pick her up from school. I would go back to sleep. And then I'd spend a little bit of time before I went back to work. And that was my day, right? And of course, taking care of my youngest, who was 1.5 at the time. And it was a challenge. Here I was, and I was going through a divorce. I was trying to sell my house. I was going through all of these motions, and I was trying to make the money. I was trying to support us. I was trying to pay for lawyer bills. I was trying to do all of these things. And though my intention was to do everything and to choose me, I was doing it from a place where I did not realize that I was so stressed that I was actually anxious. And it was mirrored in Isabella. In fact, Isabella had cried every single day that I took her to school. She was the child that you had to pull her off the fence because she'd be holding onto the fence, and I would have to pull her, or I would have to push her gently into school for the longest time, probably until about grade 6, where we would have 1 or 2 days in the year where there was no anxiety, no crying. And the same thing, whenever I went to work, she would be at the window and she'd be watching me, and she would just be crying because all she wanted was me. And I'm reviewing this. And of course, you can get that thought and that regret and that, oh man, like I wish that I was me now as I went through this journey, right? As I was caring for her then. And of course, that isn't a possibility, right? But the learning, that was the journey. The journey was for me to discover me in all of that. It was for me to choose to love me and to notice that I was only in the mind. I had to do all of the things. I had the task list. I had all of the things prepared. I had all of their clothes prepared for the week, so they didn't even have to pick. I had all of the laundry done. I had all of the things that I needed to get done in order to support and care for them. Though it was only intellectually, it wasn't from here, right? And I began my healing journey, around that time. And it wasn't until there was one quick boom. Will you trust your intuition? Because in all of that stuff, my intuition was trying to guide me. It was trying to be received through my mind. It was trying to direct me into more ease, into more simplicity. And I just wasn't hearing it because my body had been conditioned. My anxiety was high, and I had been so conditioned that I didn't know that I was anxious, that I didn't know that my body was in stress, that I didn't realize that I was in fight or flight, and that I was dissociated from my own emotions. And that one click, that one realization, oh, hold on. She's not anxious. I'm anxious. She's just responding to me. And that one flip and that one coming back in to my own body, into feeling my own emotions, into paying attention to me wholly, the very next day she shifted. The very next day, the anxiety was gone. The crying was gone. She was happy to go to school. She was no longer crying when I went to work. It was a huge shift. And so this is the invitation for you today. The invitation for you today is to come back in and to ask yourself, what would it be like to receive? What would it be like to receive support from my guides, from my intuition, from my higher self, from God, from Creator, from the universe? What would it be like if I just put my hands out and asked, what's my next step? Right? Of course, coming back down to what is it that I want? Who am I and what do I want? Then asking, right? And feeling into it and allowing the guidance in. Because we are always being directed. On the low side of that, I was impatient. I was always angry. I was always sad. Yes, I was in my emotions, but I was in it from a place where I wasn't even embodied. I wasn't even paying attention to my emotions because I was under the guise of, oh, it's okay. I'm just going to think happy thoughts. I'll just think happy thoughts. And so I would try to jump ahead of the emotions so that I didn't have to feel it. And so that my mind could take over and play this cycle of drama, of rescuer, of bully, of savior, right? Victim. I said that wrong. Right. And so in my mind itself, I was telling all of these stories that would, I would bully myself into the next action, into the next task. I would save myself by saying, okay, just got to give up now, go sleep. I would play the victim role to everyone. I would just share what was happening, the story and this and that and all of those things so that I could not be in my own energy, so that I could not receive what was available to me. And so today is a day where you get the opportunity to land into your intuition even more deeply, to allow yourself to receive whatever guidance that is, to come into, well, what if I would trust whatever this voice is? What if I just did? To notice where the mind is running away from you. Because today this energy can quickly carry you away into, oh man, what are we going to have for dinner? Oh man, I got to go to the grocery store and I got to do this and I got to do that and you can run away from yourself in your own mind without even being present. And so come back. What do I want to accomplish today? What are the 3 main things? I'm going to direct my focus there. I'm going to be here now as I focus on 1, because the mind's going to want to carry you to do 5 things at once. And so to focus your mind and allow yourself to receive, okay, here's my next step. Okay, here's my next step. Okay, here's my next step. Move on to the next. Oh, okay, here's my next step. And your focus doesn't mean it has to be A to Z, that it has to be completed. It simply means, oh, okay, I get the first 3 steps. Great. I'm directed here. I'm going to go focus here. So today, notice deep breaths. Be embodied. Be here now. So focus on the breath. Notice where you're getting taken by the mind. Invite yourself back in. Decide how you want to feel. And allow that, how you feel, to be the tonality of what you are receiving. Because if you're going to be angry or frustrated or impatient or all of those things, then that's the frequency and the energy and the messages that you are receiving. So here now, in presence, in power, how do I want to feel? I'm open to receiving guidance. What's my next step as I focus on this? Beautiful. Questions, comments, please feel free to share and I will be happy to respond. Sending you all so much love. I will talk to you tomorrow, Friday. Already. Wow. Bye for now.